witches, I'm Eadig and welcome back to my channel. As some of you guys know, I am a crazy symbol freak. I love ancient symbols and I thought I would share some of the books that I've been referencing and some of the books that I study in order to teach you guys as much as I can about ancient symbols. I am an aspiring occult symbologist, which basically means I want to know everything there is to know about everything there is to know about ancient symbols. So there's a lot that goes into that, not only how they were used in the past, but how they're also used today, and in magical terms, how they're also used as well. So yeah, let's dive into this. The first book I want to recommend is Celtic Tree Mysteries. This teaches you all about the Celtic tree ogham, which is basically a form of divination, kind of like the runes, and it goes so in depth about all of the different systems that you can use with different types of ogham, but also each of the letters of the ogham alphabet and the symbols that are derived from them as well. It gives you the meanings, it also gives you kind of like a back history on all of them, and so much more. This book is absolutely incredible for anyone that's a beginner in the ogham system, because I started off with runes and I was like, let me check this out, let me see what's up. And it's taught me so much. I feel like I could soon be a tree ogham master at some point, maybe a little bit with this book. But of course, I need to go more in depth with other books, but this is definitely a good starting book if you're trying to learn the basics. Once I kind of get more in depth with my understanding of the ogham, I'm definitely gonna make a series on that. But this is definitely a good starting point for you guys. So the next book, I actually recommended this in another video, but this is Magical Alphabets. Probably one of the best books in terms of helping me understand different alphabets, like the Hebrew alphabet, the Greek alphabet, and the runes. I know a lot about the runes, but there's a lot that I don't know still, and it gives you just a little different take on the runes from other rune books that I've read before. And oh my god, it's taught me so much about the Akbeker, which is a Hebrew ciphering table that you can use in order to create magic squares, and so much more. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely check out Magical Alphabets. It gives you so much information on each letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the Greek alphabets, even other magical alphabets, and so much more. This is one of those gems. As anyone starting off in learning about symbols, like, you definitely want this, because holy crap, it gives you so much information. Another book that I've also recommended before is Signs, Symbols, and Omens. Holy crap. This book has almost all of the symbols you can think of in terms of alchemy, Egyptian hieroglyphs, and so many different symbols. It doesn't give you too much information about the symbols, but it tells you kind of like which system they're used in and gives you a little bit of a description or even the name. But it's a good point of reference when you're just trying to start out and like trying to get your fix on symbols. I am obsessed with all of the symbols that are in here. I'm just like one of those people that every time I open a book that has symbols in it, I'm like, I need to have this. I need to have this right now. So this is definitely one of those books. Again, starting off with symbols, just giving yourself a little fill, a little fix to see if you're interested in them. Signs and Symbols, definitely a go-to for your first couple of books on symbols. The Art and Practice of Geomancy. If I could give this book like 20 stars, I totally would. Yeah, this is my go-to for any geomancy questions that I have. I do have more books on geomancy, but this is definitely the one that I recommend to absolutely everybody trying to learn geomancy. It's great because it not only goes into different types of charts you can use, but also what planets they're associated with, learning how to use them in binary systems as well. And oh man, this is my geomancy go-to. I would like to be buried with this book because it's so good. So if you're interested in learning about geomancy, definitely get this book. Word working! Oh man. This is my go-to ride or die for runes. This is the book that got me into runes. This is the book that actually got me into understanding the runes. And man, it gives you so much information. And it's insane how the author ALBERTSSON does it, because he does it in layman's terms and it gives you so much information while he's also doing that. He also gives you the rune poem and teaches you a little bit of Old English. So it's like, what? I'm learning a new language too. This is so cool. Yeah, this book is like everything if you're trying to learn the runes. So that's my geomancy ride or die. This is my rune ride or die. Like, yes, I'm about this life. Like, you should do it if you're trying to learn runes. Of course, I'm going to be doing my rune series and continuing it, but if you're interested in runes, this is definitely a good starting point. Okay, so this is the book that actually got me into metaphysics, and I didn't realize I was interested in metaphysics until I started reading this book. Planetary Signatures in Medicine. Like, what am I reading and how have I never realized this before? Like, this book tells you so many different ways of how symbols correlate, how religions correlate, and how they're also related to the universe and what symbols we see just in regular things like flowers and other plants and things like that. Man, it's like, this is such a great book. I'm just like, I'm about to melt in the awe of everything that I've read. I have so many, if I open up this book, like all of it has notes and everything. I am obsessed with this book. This book is so incredible. It teaches you a little bit about hermetics as well, if you're interested in like hermeticism or alchemy or anything like that. There's so much that goes into so many of these symbols. So if you're interested in metaphysics and you're interested in harnessing more of your craft through ancient symbols, this is definitely a good book to read. And it gives like a medical and scientific standpoint as well, which I think is really fascinating, because when you think of witchcraft and you think of ancient symbols and you think of things like that, you don't think of science, but it also ties in so many different religions, and that's kind of what metaphysics is. It kind of ties in everything and teaches you how everything is connected. So yeah, if you're interested in metaphysics and how it can help out with your understanding of witchcraft and religion in general, definitely check out this book. Let's see. Quadrivium. Okay, so this book is so crazy. When I first saw this book in the store, I honestly was like, I have to have this, holy crap. It starts off with a lot of different geometric shapes and numbers and things like that, and it dives really deep into mathematics and the Platonic solids and so much more. So yeah, if you're interested in sacred geometry and numbers and things like that, this is definitely one of those books, and it's beautiful. And there's so many pictures. I'm just geeking out over this because it's so cool. It doesn't go too in depth. It's more of like an introductory, like all of the chapters are very just simple introductions to each of the points that they make in this. But it's cool because they also have different books for different subjects. Like, what do they have? They have the Trivium, the Quadrivium, Scientia, and Disina. So they all kind of have their own little system. Like the first one, Trivium, is grammatics, Scientia is about science, Quadrivium is like liberal arts, geometry, numerology. So yeah, definitely check out this series of books. I've only have Quadrivium for now, but I definitely want to get Trivium because that seems really interesting to me, just learning about semantics. So yeah, Quadrivium, beautiful book. It's great. You should get it. Yeah. And then we have the 3 Books of Occult Philosophy by Henry Cornelius Agrippa. So this is one of the go-tos that every magician, every witch should have. Some of the books that you already have probably reference this one. This is like the starting point to all understanding of magic and the occult and stuff like that from Renaissance magic. So this is the go-to book that you must have in order to kind of just understand different types of occult philosophy, witchcraft, geomancy, things like that. Definitely get this book if you just want a broad understanding of witchcraft in general, but also it gives you magic squares and geomancy and different ancient symbols and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of an amazing book, but it's also, like I said, it's one of those books that everyone references, so it's like, even if someone has derived their information from it, they may not have the same exact amount of descriptions or anything like that in their work. So you definitely want to go to the source of their work in order to give yourself that real understanding of it. So yes, this is the go-to for any witch in anyone's collection. Okay, so I've been interested in the I Ching, and I have a couple books in the I Ching, but they are so extensive and confusing, and I'm just like, am I just not supposed to learn anything about the I Ching? So I found this in a bookstore, and it's the Complete Idiot's Guide to the I Ching. I totally understand that, you know, the book title is kind of just like, why am I reading the Complete Idiot's Guide? But it's actually pretty good, honestly. It's one of those books where you think, oh my god, I don't want to get that because it's a Complete Idiot's Guide, like it's not going to have everything, but it gives you so much information on each of the different trigrams and hexagrams, that I never have really understood in any of the other books that I have had. So if you're interested in learning about Chinese divination, like, definitely check this out. The Complete Idiot's Guide of I Ching. Yeah, the title is like, ugh, I don't know, but it's such a good reference and it helps you understand so much. It's one of those books you want to start off with. Definitely take it with a grain of salt because it might not have the real true information that you would get from another book, but if you're starting off and you're like, I want to learn these, learn each of the 64 hectograms and the 8 trigrams, and then reference another book that'll have way more information given to you by an author that really truly knows what's up. So yeah, this is a good starting point for anyone interested in learning about the I Ching. Signs and symbols, signs and symbols. You know, obviously this list wouldn't be anything without this book. So I've mentioned this book before, but this is legit one of the books I reference the most. It's kind of an encyclopedia of just all of these different symbols, and it has so many interesting pictures and interesting different like descriptions and everything for each of these symbols. It's the best. I saw this in the store and I was like, I don't care what it is, I'm just gonna grab it. And I've always been proud of myself for that because this book is so good. There's sometimes when I can't find a symbol in it, but it's very, very rare. And in that case, when I can't find a symbol that I'm looking for or whatever, I'll go online or I'll find another book that references it as well. But dude, like, if you haven't gotten this book, get it now because holy crap, it's so freaking good. So good. All right, next book I'm recommending is RUNELORE. So this book is a book that I've recommended before, but it's also a book that you want to read after your general understanding of runes is taken care of. It is a very detailed, very extensive, very advanced book for anyone interested in learning more about runes. It goes into runology in a way that other books don't by kind of giving you more information about the divisions and different formulas you can use and different ways of using runes and numbers together and so much more. So this book is crazy advanced and it's kind of like a head, you know, mind-blowing like thing when you're first starting out. So I put this on my shelf for a year before I even read it. But once I got word working and understood the runes in that sense, I went back to this book and I was like, wow, this actually makes so much sense. So yeah, RUNELORE is definitely one of those books that you want to go to once you kind of have more of an understanding of runes, but it's definitely one of those that it has to be on your shelf because it's absolutely incredible. All right, my last book is Occult Science. This book is more of a book on metaphysics than it is about witchcraft, but it also gives you so much. It gives you so much about each of the symbols, alchemy and how it correlates to different religions. It gives you information on numbers and how to use them in metaphysics as well. It's so insane. This is one of those where I was like, how have I not had this? How have I not known this? How have I not realized and all this stuff? Like, this is the book. This is the book that every occult symbologist should have on their shelf. It is so freaking good. It is amazing. So if you don't have this book, get it now because you definitely need it. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this helped in your ancient symbology journeys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.